Hello, here we are, week 199. Right, this is the second take because mic didn't work on the first one, so I'll try not to look bored, but anyway. Right, so I've been away, so the first thing to report is the tank has sailed through a week of me not really interacting with it. So I went away for 6 nights, come back for 1 night, and then left again for 3 nights. So, and I didn't really do much, just checked there was nothing dead basically when I came back for that 1 night. I've already fed the fish obviously because this is the second attempt at doing this, so no fish feeding this week for you guys. Yeah, so the tank ticks over nicely really, and yeah, difficult to talk when there's nothing really to talk about. I'm just trying to think. I have just ordered some more vodka and vinegar for the carbon dosing. I'm contemplating possibly removing the biopellets. I mean, I like them, but you need a lot of them, and I'm not sure the reactor is big enough for this size tank, and I might put them back on when I've extended the sump, but I'm just tight space in the sump really, and it annoys me, just the restriction on space to get things in and out, clean them and stuff. So I'm not giving it the attention it should get really. So I might just up the carbon dosing, see if that'll take care of the nitrates and phosphates. Yeah, so there's possibly that. The other thing is I watched a salted banter. No, not a salted banter. I watched what did I watch? A tank tour on Ron's Discord, Reef AF. Steve from Exodus was on there, which is a UK sort of distribution maintenance. I don't know what they do. I'm not going to make it up. Anyway, the guy who owns it did a tank tour. It's got an amazing tank, and one of the takeaway things was he feeds his fish liquid foods, which obviously piqued my interest immediately because I do the same with the DOS. He uses NIOS liquid foods, which is one of the foods I use, and he encountered a similar problem. I guess he used a peristaltic pump, or someone he knew did. I mean, they work fine. I've used the DOS peristaltic pumps to put food in a tank for probably 2 or 3 years, and it works fine on small particulate foods. So I use the first bite pods, which works fine. I use gold pods, which is the NIOS in the bottle, works fine. Anything like myces, which is probably what most people would want to feed really, it's too big basically, and it gets mushed up as it goes through the peristaltic tube, and it gets all sticky and it clogs up, and if it does make into the tank, it's sort of obliterated a lot of the time. So I don't feed it anymore. I tried it for quite a while. I tried various ways of getting it dosed in by using RO line tubing, or but eventually they clog up. I mean, these clog up as well, probably last 3 months, and I have to change the silicone dosing lines. But what he is doing is he's putting those liquid foods in a larger container, I don't know, it's like a litre bottle or something, and then he's dropping in one of these pmup pumps, and he's putting a Eheim, the green 912 Eheim tubing on. I'd imagine that fits straight on there, I guess. Yeah. And then he drops the whole pump into the vessel where the food is, and then depending on how long you run the pump is how much you can dose into your tank, and then gravity will basically cycle back flow into that feeding container and clear your line out. So it's very simple. You're letting gravity clean the pipe out after you've dosed it, whereas with the DOS you run the head forward to dose, and then you run it back to draw whatever's left in the line back into the feeding bottle. So I quite like the idea of it, and I like the fact that obviously, because it pulls in from the bottom. You can have it just sitting in the bottom of the container, and it's probably not going to mince up the food, mash it up. As I guess that's just an impeller pump. I've never really looked at it, to be honest. So I can feed larger food, which will be good for the tangs and that when I go on holiday. It's one of the main issues of leaving a tank, especially a tank this size, got 17 tangs in it and various angelfish and stuff, is just getting people to feed it. It's just a pain. So if I could get mices fed by this, then it just make going away that little bit less stressful, I think, providing it works, obviously, providing it doesn't back siphon the whole of my tank onto the floor. You know, there's it's obviously caveats of using it, but yeah, so I've got that. I found a FMM module as well. So basically I just need an Aquabus cable to get that to sit somewhere, and I will have a play with it. And I can imagine you can just set a timer to automatically dose that once you know what the run time is for that pump. It's going to be different for everyone, obviously. And once you know it, you can just set a timer so it'll auto dose. Then you could probably just set it on a feed button as well if you wanted to do it manually. Just hit like feed B or something, it'll run the pump and dose some food in the tank. So that is something I will get round to within the next 400 years. So not really got anything to say about the tank, because like I said, it's just bobbed along. I cleaned the glass and that's it really. The Kalk sodium carbonate combination dosing is working fine. So as you know, I don't use an auto top up on this tank. I use a peristaltic pump to replace my evaporation, and I just test my salinity a couple of times a week, and it's quite easy. I mean, the evaporation doesn't do mad swings. It trends up and down throughout the year, but week to week, you know, the week before I went away, I added an extra litre a day because I knew the door was going to be shut because I was not going to be here, and obviously those fans are going to be coming on to cool the tank because it gets warm in here. When the door's not open, it gets even warmer. And I've put the aircon unit back on, but it's on a smart switch, so I can turn it on and off if I need to. So I just added an extra litre. So I think currently, top of my head, I'm doing 19 litres a day, and all of it runs through the Kalk stirrer because it's just easier to do that way. And then that provides sort of a base level out, and then at night or evening through the night, I dose the sodium carbonate, and I dose most of it from midnight to 7 in the morning. So let's say I dose 250 mils. I'm making these numbers up because I can't actually remember what I dosed. I think it might be 200 mils, somewhere around in there. And I will dose probably 40 mil from 7 till 12, and then if I'm dosing 200, I'll dose 160 from midnight till 7. Yeah, and it seems to be working pretty well. So my pH drops to about 8.1ish, goes up to nearly 8.3. So that's fine. I'm more than happy with that. It's nice and simple. So that's why I am really. I haven't done anything with the sun, but hopefully next 2 weeks I will get that done, if not completed. It'll be pretty close to it. This tank, I'm still dosing some nitrates and phosphates. They are definitely having effects. Got more algae growth in the tank, but I'm not really bothered about that. But the colony was just looking a bit anemic. It's definitely looking better. It definitely looks like it's got some signs of growth tips coming on it. It's also, I'd like to say it's intentional that I lowered the colony down in the water, but it fell off the rock, and I just left it there, and it looks happy for it. So I don't know what's affected it to make it look happier, whether it's the higher nutrients, the lower light, combination of the two. But anyway, it's looking happier, so I'm going to leave it where it is. I need really to add maybe another fish or two in there, a bit more clean up crew possibly. The snails had bread. I did notice some baby trucker snails in there. I might get some Masara snails for the snail bed, yeah, for the sand bed, for the little bit of sand that's left in there, just to turn it over a bit. Or I might get a tuxedo or something in there. I don't know. We'll see. I can't decide what fish to add, and I've probably made life harder for myself, and the fact that I've left that wrasse in that tank for a few months on its own, so it's going to think the whole territory's its now. So it's going to make adding something else. I haven't had that wrasse before. It's a tripless wrasse, triple spot. I don't know what they're like. I don't know if they're extremely territorial or aggressive with other fish. I don't know really. I'm hoping these won't be, but yeah, I can't decide what to add. I'd like to add something slightly interesting. It's not really a tank, it's not a display tank as such. It doesn't look particularly pretty, to be honest. But I could add some interesting. I quite like the idea of adding some interesting inverts in there, really. But I don't know. I spent so long procrastinating over what to add. I've not added anything. So I will have to get round to doing something with it. Yeah, so like I say, this thing's bobbing along. Might take out the bioreactor with the pellets in. Once I get the sump sorted, I possibly might put them back if I have the space. Just a space issue, really. It just annoys me getting into that sump with that reactor in it, because it's a very small sump really, and it's quite a big reactor. It just makes getting in there and doing anything. I used to keep the sump pretty spotless, and now because that's in the way in the tubes, I just tend not to clean it as much as I did, and it's just starting to annoy me a bit really. So what else? I missed the Abyzz guys coming over, so they have been to AAC, which is one of my local LFSs, and they brought some stuff with them. One of the things they bought was the Canon AFC150, which is something I've been looking at for probably 2 years. But Paul messaged me, the owner of the shop, and said he's got one in store, so at least I can, because I've never physically seen one, touched one, I don't know. You just see a picture and you think you can work out how big it's going to be in your tank, but you can't really do it until you see it in person. So hopefully I will get to go and see it. He sung its praises, says it's amazing, which I'm sure it is, because the one thing I would say over the 4 years, because next week will be week 200, so we're getting on, is pretty much everything has broken or fouled at some point on this tank. The lights, to be fair, hardware wise, the lights are good. None of them are fouled. Can't think of any of them are fouled. Top of my head, I think they have. I did send a light to Exodus, but I can't remember why it was broken. But I don't think it broke. I can't remember. But even if it is, in 4 years, I've sent one light to Exodus to be fixed. And to be fair, I don't think it broke being over my tank, to be honest. I'm still running G4s down there, absolutely solid. It's the software has been the issue with the lights, not the hardware. The hardware seems pretty good, and they've been over that tank for 4 years. So I know I'm moaning about them a lot, but it's not the hardware that I moan about really, it's just the software issues of them, and they are much, much better now I've moved them off the Mobius app. But I was just thinking, the skimmer has had problems with it. It's, the pump played up on it, the O-ring played up on it. Just trying to think what else, the MP60s get a bit noisier now, they ramp up. I've had the heaters failed, the Inkbird unit I used melted, and I chuck it and buy another one. Calcium reactors had issues. Dosing pumps obviously had issues. I was going to say, I'll get back to that. I bet I'll forget, but I'll try not to. So the long-winded point I'm trying to make is the only thing I've had on this tank from day one, which I've given very little attention to, are the Abyzz return pumps. I think I've cleaned one of them possibly once, and the other one probably twice. And I've got to be honest, I clean them mainly because they get a snell in there, and I can just hear that noise on the rotor as it in the shell, and that makes me go and look at them. But when I have cleaned them, they've had basically nothing in there really. So I'm just watching my nasosane get cleaned by the cleaner rats. It's a good thing to watch. Yeah, so I'm hoping that the in-tank pump will be of the same caliber. I'm sure it is. I mean, they are not cheap, so you'd like to think it would be pretty good. And my idea is I'd like to get it down that end of the tank and push water 13 foot across the sort of whole top third centre into the weir at that end, really. Because it's kind of, I'd sort of come along the bottom with the flow when the MP6 is down that end. The crud catches into that corner there, which is easy for me to siphon straight down the sink there when I do a water change, and then it comes up and goes sort of back and then along down to the weir, and that is the general way the circulation works. And then the MP's filters on the back kind of rotate it as it travels along and back again, and then I've got some that just go up and give some surface agitation. So I think potentially it could work well. The only issue is with most of these pumps is how close to the surface can you get it without making a vortex and sucking in tons of air and pushing it all around the tank. But yes, so that is on the horizon. I don't know when I'll get to have a look at it, but hopefully in the next few weeks, and then I will decide whether I want to take out a mortgage to buy one. Yeah, so there's that. And the other thing I've done this week, obviously, is I drove up to Durham on Friday, or Bowburn, just outside of Durham City in the county of Durham, which is 280 miles from my house. And I went to a shop called the Reef Experience, which was a group meeting run by the Reefers network and Howard owns the shop. So we spent most of Saturday there, got there about 10, left at 4, so I did 6 hours of reefing chat. Met lots of people who I know from online chat, but I've never met in person. And a few people that I've met a few times now. So it's always good just to meet up and chat reef rather than this sort of social media interaction, which I know that's the majority of interactions now that people do, but it's still nice to just have a face-to-face and a chat. So it's good to meet Josh Reef, because he lives, I think he's quite close to that shop. I think he lives in Sunderland, the shop's in Durham, so I don't know what that is, 20 minutes, half hour away. Yeah, so it's good to meet Ron, who came down from Scotland, so he managed to get out of his office for once and drove down. I think he said 3.5 hours, so that's not a bad drive for him, because it took me 5.5 hours to get up there. But I think most of it was because there seemed to be a lot of roadworks on the M1 going up, so it's a slow journey. Yeah, and obviously I met Salty Si and ADR. Dave, his name is, can't remember his name. Yeah, so it was good to meet Tim Wakeful Roofer. He's a very good roofer, that guy. I like chatting to him. Got a lot of knowledge, does some stuff that interests me. Yeah, so it's Lee was there when I'm reefer. Tom runs Reefers Network was there. Drippy was there. Amanda was there. So yeah, lots of people. Just good to chat. So yeah, it was enjoyable. It was a long way to go though, because I didn't actually buy anything. So it's a bit weird actually, because they got a big but they got a seating area, couches and tables, And after you circulate and have a look at everything in the shop, I was sitting down, I was chatting to the guy who I assumed worked there, but I guess he didn't. And I said, what times is it shut? And he said 5. So I thought, right, okay. So before I leave, I'll go up to the counter and get some stuff that I want. And then we were sat talking with One Arm Reaper and Johnny B. Can't remember who else is there now. Me. No, gone. Anyway, come out, is it? And at 4 o'clock, we were all just sitting there, still gassing. They went, we're shutting now, guys. So you need to op it, basically. And so we ended up just leaving in a rush. I didn't buy anything because I thought we said an hour. I felt kind of bad, really. So I went all that way and didn't actually buy a single thing. And I wanted some stuff as well. But there you go. Such is life. So yeah, that's the first shop I've been in actually, which has got like a seating area where you can just sit down and get a coffee and have a chat. It's a good idea. I don't think off the top of my head I've been to any shop down south which has got a sort of seating area in the shop. I mean, I guess, I don't know whether just ground rents down south are just so exorbitant that they're not willing to give up some commercial space for a settee and a coffee table, or whether that's just the owner's preference. Howard was a really interesting guy actually. So he was saying that he went from breeding finches at a very high level, travelling the world and lecturing them about them. He did that for 15 years, I think he said. And then he went off and did poisonous dart frogs. I love a tangent. Yeah, and then a couple of years ago decided to open that reef shop. So yeah, interesting guy and very good at him to put the meat on, really. So that was that. Yeah, just trying to think. I think that's it, really. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. So yeah, so next week is 200. Oh, I saw Straton Light actually. Because Kaz was there, and she didn't have the big one. I'm no good with the names because I haven't got one, but I was very surprised by the weight of that light. That is because it doesn't, when you look at it before you actually touch it, it doesn't look like it's going to be that heavy. And then you pick it up and go, oh, that is a heavy light. They look really nice actually, and I like the idea that you can they're very smooth, so you can just wipe it over very quickly. But they are extremely expensive for a light, and I've got lights, so I doubt very much if I'll be changing my lights out for them, to be honest. It just seems like a waste of money, if I'm honest. But yeah, they are nice. I would consider it if I was starting a new tank, I think. Yeah, right, I think I'm done, guys. I can't really think of anything else to say. So it was good to meet up. If you were there, it was a good day. Am I going to do anything special for week 200? Let me think. No, because I can't think of anything yet. So I'll see you in the next one, guys, because I can't think of anything to say. I've already said all this once because the mic didn't work. So that's it. Oh no, I meant to say. I said I'll get back to it. Just popped him. So this, nearly swore there. So this rotating peristaltic pump head, right? I contacted a company. All right, this is me just going in old moany sod mode now, right? So I contacted a company, gave them the pump number and the head number, and went, you sell the single head rotors, I want one for a double head for the 2 lines to go through. So I sent them an email, all the information needed, asked them how much, and they, you get the auto reply, oh, thank you very much for emailing, we will get back to you in 1 to 3 business days. And then the following day I got an email that said, can you contact us with your official email address? I was like, what's that mean? So I got back to them and went, I don't know what you mean by official email address. That's my name and this is my email address. And they got back to me and went, we can't deal with you with anyone who's got a Gmail or like a Yahoo or a personal email address. We don't deal with. So I just don't understand. So I can't buy that because apparently I don't run a multi-million-dollar company and have some business email address. So I was just like, well, I don't understand. So hopefully one of the other companies will come back. But yeah, I don't understand why I can't buy it as an individual. Why I have to be a member of a company or an association or a lab or whatever. I don't know. I just don't understand. I mean, it's a rotor head for a peristaltic pump. Why the fuck can I not just buy that? I don't understand. Anyway, so there we are. Right, so that's rant over, guys. And yes, I will see you in the next one.